Thank you. I now recognize Representative McGarvey from the great state of Kentucky for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And being from Kentucky, we love our college sports, so this is of particular interest to me. I'm going to say, though, this is the first time on our committee I have seen an organization come forward before us who doesn't have its act together and is so inept that they are actually asking the government to take over what's going on and regulate this. I was the Senate Minority Leader in the state of Kentucky. I was the first person to introduce the Name, Image, and Likeness Bill in Kentucky. I worked with our universities, I authored it, I passed it. Within 6 months, it was basically obsolete. We had good things in there, including registry of agents, which you're talking about. We had good things in there protecting the players. I'm very much about the players, their safety, their well-being. We had a provision in there which I liked, I haven't heard anybody talk about today, which is if you signed a contract as a student athlete in college, it was void if you wanted it to be when you went professional. Therefore, we've got some 17, 18-year-old kids who are signing up for contracts when they go to college. If they're a one and done in basketball, they're not obligated to that after they go. I think there's some good things we can do. But here's the thing, right? The NCAA is the best institution to handle this. The next best institution is us. The last institution are your state legislatures, which I am a state legislator at heart. I love what they do, but you saw an arms race and this patchwork of laws which has led us to being here today. But here's my warning. Just like what we did in Kentucky, when you needed a change, you got to go back to the state legislature. When you all are asking the United States government, where it will literally take an act of Congress to change something once we let it out loose in the wild, is the NCAA so inept right now that this is something Congress must legislate?
Somebody needs to step forward, and apparently they're not stepping forward to create essentially what we all want is a level playing field amongst TCU, Ohio State, Miami, Kentucky, Texas, where the athletes and athletic departments are playing by the same set of rules. You line up on Saturday, there's going to be 11 on defense. Is Kentucky going to play with 12 without the same set of rules as Florida? So that's what I think everybody wants to protect, the games of that they all play. And it's apparent the NCAA isn't going to step forward. So I think that's why we're here to say maybe Congress can, put the impetus on the NCAA to say, here are things that need to happen, do it.
And I appreciate that, and I'll take some of the silence as an answer. And so I think we do need to step forward, and we've got to make sure that we're protecting players, that we're creating that level playing field, that it is a national standard. We are missing the national standard right now. That's something we need. Ms. Allen, I have a question for you specifically. How can we use a name, image, and likeness bill? Because if we're going to do this, let's do it. Let's do it right. Let's do it for the players. Let's not try to come back here and fix it. How do we improve player health and safety standards, including in the years after their careers are over?
I think that we start with independent oversight, as I mentioned in my testimony previously, and you need organization of players. They need to be able to collectively bargain. That's what we're trying to do at the College Football Players Association. I think it would take care of a lot of the issues that the NCAA is concerned with when it comes to issues of antitrust, because if players are given a seat at the table and are able to talk about the issues that are most important, nobody has to guess. And legislators don't have to come in and create legislation that really doesn't quite hit on the issues that actually matter to players. And the only way to know that is to talk to the players themselves. So that's the answer.
I appreciate that, and I wish we had a ton more time because this is an important topic. There's a lot of things we have to deal with, including the fact the transfer portal has basically become an extortion market as we see it today. How do we make this so it's right? We are interested in athlete well-being, though, and one thing about athlete well-being, I see this conference realignment stuff going on right now. If you've got an athlete at the University of Louisville who's flying now to Cal or to Stanford, how does that impact player well-being, and what does that do for player athletes?
I'll comment that I didn't go to Stanford specifically. I wouldn't go on a recruiting visit because for lacrosse, it meant traveling so much to play anybody good at the time that I was in college. It has a tremendous, it means for most of the sports that don't have chartered flights in the middle of the night. It's exhausting. It's going across time zones. Athletes can't get any work done. They're barely in class. It doesn't make any sense. And the fan bases are then all over the place. It's actually fun to be able to go kind of local to play and have rivals that are nearby. So, I mean, it makes absolutely no sense to have coast-to-coast conferences.
Thank you. And unfortunately, I'm out of time because I've got a lot more questions. As you guys can probably tell, I want to get this. I think we do have to step in. I think we do have to step up, and I want to make sure we get it right because you literally will have to get Congress to act again if you want to change something. Thank you, guys. I yield back.